How's it going? My name is William, and this is my so-called life.
Get the most fun out of life, out of being a mother and wife, with new fashion excitement that's all created by you. On your new Touch and Sew
Sewing machine by Singer.
Touch and Sew.
Another first from Singer.
Be the girl with the golden touch on your new Singer Golden Touch and Sew machine. Dozens of exclusive features, like this new built-in needle threader for the golden slant needle and the push-button bobbin that winds right in the machine. What a wonderful new feeling. You can do all three kinds of sewing: straight, zigzag, and chain stitch.
Touch and Sew, the push-button bobbin way.
Come sew on one at your Singer Center. Choose from 5 Touch and Sew models from $149.95.
What's new for tomorrow
Is at Singer today.
They're just-touching Touchtronic memory machines.
Incredible.
I'm Polly Bergen. Only Singer makes machines this easy to use. Touch. The memory remembers your stitch pattern instantly. Touchtronic speed control remembers to adjust your fabric thickness.
What about basting?
Touch. Great. You can forget about your sewing machine and concentrate on sewing. The Touchtronic memory machine family. Come take a test, Touch.
100 million people sew easier with Singer.
Hello, welcome to my so-called life. My name is My name is William, and this is the House of Sewing. I hope everyone's doing well. It's Wednesday night. I have all kinds of fun stuff I'm going to get into this evening. But first, I would like to say hello to Pam. It is great to see you. I am so glad that you made it home. It was so great to meet you. Awesome. Yay. Hello, Joy. Great to see you. Great to see you as always. Mona, hello. Awesome. Oh, excuse me. I just got home. My son's MMA coach loves to hear himself talk. And as the weeks get on, the classes get progressively longer. They used to end at 7 o'clock. Sometimes they end at 7:10. Yesterday they ended at like 7:20. How's it going, Alibaba? Great to see you. Great to see you. Awesome. I will actually be cleaning my sewing machine in a minute. I'm going to take apart a few pieces on the babylock and give it some love because my serger, excuse me, my serger has utterly and completely died on me. I can't even say what the problem is. It's only surging. It's only using 3 threads. So what's happening is no matter what setting it's on, it's throwing a thread. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I'm going back to my sewing machine. 2 weeks ago, I started this debacle of a project. Yay, hello. 5 days and I haven't heard from the guy. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. Most people who are selling sewing machines, they'll tell you right off the bat if they want to sell it to you or not. I hate that anticipation. Yay, hello. There was an industrial serger in my area for 200. Wow. I never get deals like that. Around here, that does not happen. I think what happens is people go on eBay or they'll go on certain sites and they start pricing based on, they'll say, oh, okay, I own this table. So they're asking 9,000 for it. So I'm gonna ask 8. It's insane. The market where I live is crazy. But I finished the disaster coat. At this point, I don't even know what to call this thing. I had this really artsy fartsy idea of doing this like fashion designer duster, but it just became a disaster. I slowly started just adding pieces on it. I added pockets, and in the end, I decided to add a zipper. Let me move my chair real quick. I don't want that to go too far. But I added a few things, and it's less Queen of Hearts at this point. It's an improvement. I'm not going to call this a complete failure, but it started off as a failure, so anywhere up from there is a win. Oh. And yes, I made the hood so big that I could sleep in it. Oh. You know what's really funny? When I finish this thing's giving me X-Men. This is something Wolverine has over his outfit. I lined everything. I went a bit old school. Back in the day when I was a stickler for details, I would always line everything with the opposite color or the same material that it was. And I don't know, I cut the shoulders down. I added a giant hood. Hold on, let me grab my phone. Tempting for you. No room. I know the feeling. I wish I had room. But I added a ginormous hood on this, and I'm gonna say that this is an actual improvement compared to what it was. Whoops. This hood is so big it's flopping on the microphone. Is it still raining there? No, it's not raining there. It's not raining here. It was almost 80 degrees today. The weather is extreme. It's either raining or extremely hot because this time of year, it's usually from 75 to 85 on average, and then it gets gradually hotter, and then August is where it's 100 and something every single day. But you know what? I actually like this. This thing is heavy. I added pockets on it, and because it was a complete failure, I added a zipper. I feel like Professor X is asking me to go on a quest. I think you can put the eagle head on and still wear the hood. That's a big hood. That vest reminds me of a raincoat. I actually have what I consider my real cowboy raincoat. It's, of all things, it's a Marlboro Slicker. It's double-sided. Someone smoked a million cigarettes so I could have this thing. I found it at a thrift store years ago, and I wear it all the time when it's raining. I was going for something completely different, but my serger died on me at least 3 or 4 times with this project. I was throwing stitches with my sewing machine. I felt like this project didn't want to be done. And so I kept going at it and I kept going at it and I didn't give up. It's the yellow of the raincoat color. Yes, Joy, I thought it was a raincoat with a big hood. That would be cool too. This is yellow denim. This was one of the strangest oopsies I've ever found at Walmart because, I find all kinds of material, but it's rare that I find denim oopsies. Pam Pam said she finds denim oopsies all the time. I wish there's people rarely make mistakes with denim, at least at least around here. But I really like the feel of this. The one thing that makes me laugh though is that working with lighter colors, like I'm gonna have to wash this thing already. But compared to what this was, I really like how this came out. And the hood is humongous. And when I say huge, if I can grab it, it's a giant hood. I just need to find some inspiring artist fill in the blank and sell this to them. They'll love this. They'll love this. But it's been a long time since I've worked with anything that wasn't blue or black denim, and I'm constantly saying how I want to branch out, and I tried. I tried. But I like long flowy coats. I have the whole color scheme going in, so. And I lined the back of this originally with drape material. I have no idea what I was thinking. I didn't like the way it looked. So I decided to go back and line it with yellow. And so this is heavy. This coat has some weight on it. Oh, well, you took a chance on the pattern. I definitely did. That's totally like, well, you scored enough points. Here you go. I made a long time ago. I say a long time ago. I could probably look up the exact day that I made it because I made a video about it. But about a year or two ago, on a whim from a blanket that I found at the Goodwill, I made this amazing plaid duster. It was a sleeveless duster, but it kind of inspired me to go down this road. And this one isn't necessarily. Did you see? Yes. I did see the Met Gala fashions. In a minute, I'm going to see if I can look up a few. They were absolutely all over the place. But this year wasn't as crazy as years before. People actually kind of kept it close to home this year. Sometimes when you chance it, it doesn't work. Doesn't sound like you like it. Amazing stuff. And that, what, it's so funny. It's weird to me when I watch people critique fashion and they don't sew. Am I being snobby? I know we all wear clothes. Man, this thing is huge. It's like an amphitheater in here too with the hood. So I'm trying not to be that YouTuber who critiques the Met Gala, but I think I might. All right, I'm going to soak this up for a minute because I actually like this. For as much as it was a failure, it's turned into something completely different. And that's the funny thing about sewing. You never know which direction something is going to take, even when it's a complete failure. Amazing stuff. Absolutely. It doesn't look like you're sweating in it. It's my, it's because I don't have any. It's because I do not have any hair. I can't even keep it secret when I'm sweating. All right. You know that it's huge when it fits on my dress form because that is at least 2 or 3 sizes bigger than I am. I don't think it's a complete failure. Thank you, Mona. Thank you. When I put it on last week and I looked at myself on stream, I was like, oh, what have you done? So I took a week off. Sometimes I get stressed out about certain projects. So I took a week off and I came back last night. Thank you so much, Mona and Joy. More than anything else, it was the constant failure of my serger. I think that's what was stressing me out. But I forgot that I had a whole completely different style of sewing before I had a serger. And it was much more detailed than what this, and I'm not even saying this, there's no competition here. But when I got my serger, I stopped lining a lot of things. There's a lot of detail and a lot of things that I stopped doing because I would line everything to stop the frayed edges, but the serger stopped the frayed edges, So I like the fact that the serger isn't working and it brings me back to my old school ways. I think you could still alter it to make it better. I like the colors. Bring in the sides, a back pleat. I like that idea. I'm going to grab my tool pouch in a second. Because now is the time to clean the baby lock. It's not going to take that long. I'm just going to pop the side off and just take a look, see if there's any thread in there or anything. Oh, I'm going to check the tensioner and just see how it looks because I do use this machine a lot. Awesome. How is everybody doing this evening? I hope everyone's doing well. 17 minutes in, and I already forgot my disclaimer. Today has definitely been a lot of running around, but this program is for entertainment purposes only, and its content is not intended to malign any religion, lack thereof, race, company, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by my so-called life and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the opinions of every single human being on planet Earth. I hope everybody has a great evening flying my so-called life airlines. And if you're having a bad day, if you need an Activia, we have access on both sides. That's a izquierda or derecha. One of the reasons why I want to clean my machine is because, hey, Rashawn, how's it going? Even though I do not act like it, I try to be a thorough human. So I want to let everyone know, everyone's welcome here. That's an all-encompassing disclaimer that everyone is welcome here. And I may say some off-the-wall stuff every once in a while. Rarely. Awesome. Good to see you. Yay. Hello. Let me move my camera. You know what's so funny? I need to find a home for this. I have a lot of cleaning to do. And when I say find a home, I mean just a permanent place for it to be. Doing good. Awesome. I finished a project that has been plaguing me for the past 2 weeks, and I'm about to clean my sewing machine a little bit, and I keep on getting the wrong angle. I just got back from running around. My son, recently, I purchased a punching bag for my son. It's in the backyard. It's awesome. I didn't realize how insane it is to find sand or something to fill said punching bag. I went to Walmart today and they didn't have it. So logically, I went across the street and I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I volunteered to sew my mother's drapes. I went to I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods is the meaning of peanut butter without jelly. They had punching bags, but they didn't have the sand. And I asked the question. I said, just per se, I purchased a punching bag. Where would I have to get the sand? And the person looked at me and was like, not here. But I didn't say anything. It's just strange to me that they weren't, they sell punching bags, but they don't sell the inner workings of the said punching bag. And the poor kid, I ordered sand, but I didn't order enough. On Amazon, I saw this poor kid schlepping 50 pounds of dirt, and it still wasn't enough. She tried to use stitch witchery to glue shattered mesh to the top to bottom leg. Oh, wow. Didn't work well. I still have everything from my grandmother's house. I have all her old drapes, the weird awnings, everything that she built. That she would sew, or everything she made. She was obsessed with making pillows. I kept all of it. So I am completely taking the bobbin case out. I'm gonna in a minute I'm gonna pop this off, but I'm gonna plug it in a second. I need to grab my tools real quick. I hated shopping at Dick's for that reason. They only sold the high cost items and not accessories. Thank you. I felt like I was walking around and I was like, it's me. Is it me? It's got to be me. Like, how can you sell a punching bag and not sell the stuff that goes in? All right, and I grab my tools. And as somebody who always says something, I tell myself, like, don't say anything. And I calmly ask the kid, like, hey, do you guys sell sand for punching bags? And they looked at me like I was speaking a different language. But that's okay, because I'm not here to indict anybody. But it's just strange to me. I remember back in the day in my neighborhood, we had a place called Sports Chalet, and Sports Chalet had everything you could possibly think of. They had real scuba gear. Sports Chalet was like, it was a wannabe Bass Pro Shop. I learned how to scuba dive at Sports Chalet because they had a giant pool in the back. And when I say giant pool, it was literally like 150-foot scuba pool in the back in a rando shopping center somewhere. So it's weird to me that, like, and Sports Chalet was the Walmart of sporting goods. You'd buy a baseball bat, you could buy the grip, everything. And it was just weird to me that Dick's didn't have half of what they were selling. But I can get a Mookie Betts jersey for $250 or a Kings jersey for $300. Which, if anyone's wondering, that's an insane price. Okay, so before I oil this up, before I take anything else apart, I'm going to have to defluff this. Whoops, and not lose any of my screws. I have a collection of all kinds of artisan brushes. People go back and forth with what they use to defluff a sewing machine, but just with one swash, I just pulled up that much stuff, So these artist brushes actually really work. So needless to say, I spent running around looking for sand because I was trying not to go to Lowe's or Home Depot. And I didn't, because I didn't have enough time. because I get lost in Lowe's and Home Depot. And I'm not saying like I don't know, I always end up buying a bunch of stuff I don't need. Oh man, this machine is like, why did you take so long? Look at how much fluff is coming off. I don't know if you can see that because I have really bad or really good lighting in here. I don't know anymore. I should have done this a while. Like, there are literal dust bunnies just flying off of this thing because, it sits here and hangs out as well. And it's good to completely defluff your machine before you oil it, because then you're just going to be oiling the dirt and the gunk and creating even more gunk. I don't know if you can hear it, but it has kind of a, like, it still sounds like it should, but it just sounds a bit slow. And after I oil it, it's definitely going to improve it. Got that right. Oiling it will make the fluff stick big time. That's one of my biggest beef when I get old sewing machines. It's just the amount of stuff that is caked on there, because people just apply more and more grease on there, thinking, "Oh, it works," but they're literally creating sediment in the sewing machine. Says the guy who was almost there. And I'm not going to go off too much about not being able to find sand, but it's just sad that I have to order like specialty items on Amazon now, when I just used to be able to pop over to the store and grab them. And it's like, now I have to hunt for half of these things. Okay. So let me go grab my oil that everyone's going to disagree with me on. So I want to come with a huge disclaimer on this machine. I use WD-40 and 3-in-1 oil. I am a real life pirate when it comes to sewing. Always use sewing machine oil. Always use sewing machine oil. I have a bunch of bravado, and I love repurposing everything. Actually, let me get in here with this first. One step above ground. I was Alibaba. It's giving me that rock look with the raised eyebrow right now. I am a bit liberal with the oil as well. And there's like, if you see any gunk or anything that you can improve, take care of it right then and there. You can instantly hear the difference. I am so sorry I neglected you. I am so sorry. Use Crisco. I fry, so I have jars of grease by my fryer. I save oil, but I was raised by dinosaurs. I was raised by like real life dinosaurs. Perfect. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more oil because this machine, I put this thing through the ringer, and it's been a while since I don't know. I always say this. I have no idea why it's taking me this long, but I always say that. It's because life gets in the way, but I use this machine almost every day, even for little things, because everybody, owning a sewing machine It's like when you own your first truck and your friends find out that you own a truck, and all of a sudden everybody has to move. Go to oh no, WD-40. If you ever want to sponsor me, I will do the commercial and I will smile like Shaquille O'Neal and 3-in-1 as well. I'm putting my hand here just so that no excess oil goes flying because I have a ton of electronics on my desk. So there's a big conspiracy, especially in the chat. I've been accused of working for Big Sewing. You're supposed to change your sewing needle with every project. Cleaning your sewing machine, it depends on what you have sewn on that. The fur he'd sewn on it, he should have cleaned it right after that. Yes. You're supposed to, depending on the project, but like I do extremely heavy projects. So really I should clean it almost every time I use it. Not necessarily oil it, but I should defluff it, check it. Like even right now, I'm looking to see if there's any thread. I'm looking to see if the tensioner is a mess, which I should be looking at. No, you just needed some help. And also, I do this thing that's called soaking. Basically, I cover the machine in oil, but that's when they're more seized, because a machine will be completely seized, and then you just put oil on it, wait 10 hours, and come back, and magically the thing works. You know what? I'm not even gonna equivocate or make excuses. It's because of my serger. I got real cocky because my serger did everything, and then my serger died, and I'm like literally right back to where. And this sewing machine's looking at me like, I knew you'd be back. Oh, that sounds beautiful. You can even it's even going a little bit faster. This machine was, at the time when it was sold, it was a top tier machine. This is a babylock Natalie. I have used it well beyond its life. They're like 4 or 5 generations past this one. This machine works better than my Husqvarna Viking, and I paid full price for my Husqvarna Viking in 2017 or whatever year that was. Babylock is telling you it treats you right. Babylock, that's why it was so strange when I saw this. When I saw this, I couldn't believe that it was in the store. All right, so I'm gonna go grab some rags and start cleaning this up. And we're gonna pop some pieces on. I'm gonna clean a little bit more because this machine's been neglected just a little bit. Just a little bit. But my machine's working again. Well, it was working, but it's firing on all cylinders again. You can literally hear it. Let me see if I can get it into the camera. The light really the light messes with the lighting, but it's working beautiful. It sounds more epic because it's bouncing off the table as well. Perfect. Oh. If there's any affected parties watching, I just bought a bunch of new towels. I didn't just grab a rando towel. These are the ones that are going out. I literally just bought like 30 new towels because I got tired of my ratty old towels. Oh, perfect. This is a weird way this is a weird way I clean the oil off of the machine. But it's a sewing machine, so it's going to sap it right up. Perfect. And as it was sewing through the towel, it was soaking up all the oil. Like most of it is gone up here. Sorry part is the fan of my air fryer has started to sound like your sewing machine when it kicks. That means you use it. That means I fry everything. That means you use it. That's a beautiful thing. But be careful because that could be electrical too. And that perfect. Perfect. I should have done that a while ago, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it on stream. I'm just gonna do it on stream because I do it to semi-shame myself. All right. I'm trying not to lose any pieces here. I'm one of those people, I clean as I go, especially with something like this, because in about 10 minutes, I'm going to want to make a hat. So I'm trying to get all the oil off of my desk and everything. But this area is pretty weathered and leathered because I've refurbished sewing machines on here for a long, long time. I'm about to look for a new one just in case. If you're feeling froggy, look for the unit, the actual fan, and see if you can buy a new fan. Hey, happy maker, great to see you. Great to see you. Awesome, awesome. I finished this yellow duster denim behind me. I don't even know what to call it. It was something that I called a complete failure, and that it kind of grew on me. So I'm actually proud of it now. And now I'm fixing my baby lock, and sounds perfect. Great to see you. Great to see you. Awesome. Awesome. Yay. I'm thinking about making a ridiculous top hat for my tweed suit because I have a ton of tweed left over. And part of me wanted to make an overcoat, but I've made hundreds of coats. Hundreds and hundreds of coats. So I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna make a hat. You never want parts to fall out. There shouldn't be extra parts when you're putting things back. Oh, that's funny. Perfect. Perfect. I was surprised how loose this was when I took the top cap off. So I'm going to tighten that a little bit tighter. Oh, that's perfect. That might have been part there. There were a few problems with this machine, but let's be real, it was just showing age. Yay, hello. I think one of the problems is I just kept on using it, and I treat this machine like it's an industrial, and even though it's a babylock Natalie, it's a quality machine. It's not an industrial sewing machine. So one day I will learn that lesson, but it is not today. You could call that duster the Vegas card player jacket. I've been itching for a vacation because the past couple of years we've had quite a few staycations. So I've been itching to actually go out because pre-plague I was one of those people that every weekend I would go find an adventure somewhere far away from my house. But now I kind of stay close to my house. And I live in LA, so it's cheating because there's a ton of fun things to do around here, but still. All right. Let's see how that sounds. Perfect. Who else needs a vacation? I forgot to ask, what's everybody sewing this evening? What's everyone working on? I have like 4 or 5 projects that I have in my head that I want to do. Whenever I clean out my fabric, I get really ambitious because I'm like, oh, I want to do this and I want to make this. Yay! I'm not feeling I had to postpone. We need to hang out with. Oh, hello. Well, if you want to join, let me know. I'll send you a link. You don't have to. If anyone ever wants to join, just let me know. No pressure. I'm just cleaning my sewing machine. I'm gonna try to make a gentleman's hat, but it's gonna it's gonna be fun. Sorry you don't feel well. The weather has been changing. I was actually talking about this today, how I get sick every time the weather changes. And that's what's been happening here. And I know, whiny Californians, but it goes from like complete torrential downpour to 80 to 90 degree days. Like today, it was 80 something in my area. Yay. I am, my Facebook, my Instagram, and my Twitter are 3 completely different entities. Oh, it is funny. Like when I open up my Twitter, I'm like, oh. When I open Instagram, I'm always like, ah. And Facebook I avoid because it's politics season and everybody hates each other. Oh, I hope you feel better. Absolutely. The weather is just it's kicking my tail too. It's absolutely kicking me around. That's why inappropriate thumb. Whoever programmed that for Apple is not a nice human being. Absolutely feel better. Absolutely. Yay. Yay, great to see you. Happy Maker, great to see you. Waternay, I hope you feel better. If you want to commiserate, I'm here. Lately, I'm almost to the point where I'm gonna fire my serger again. You know what? You know what it is? It's those people. I'm not looking at anyone specifically who told me I should buy a better serger. They were like, if you're gonna spend the money, you should buy a better serger. And I was like, I want one right now. And I didn't listen to anybody. And there's somebody I should have listened to. The weather is the worst. And so whenever my serger bonked on me, I was like, oh man, don't prove everybody right. I believed in you, serger. And I'm talking about you, serger. I'm so mad. I use that thing for everything and it died on me. It utterly and completely died on me. And I don't know what I'm doing. I do not know. I have no idea what the real problem is. And I'm really good at troubleshooting. And the thing that's bothering me is that I've refurbished 2 or 3 of these. I've completely brought them back to life. I have brought them back to life. I have no idea why this machine isn't working. We're going to call that one the serger oopsie. All right, I'm just going to continue to clean up the oil here. I'm going to let that soak up just a little bit. But, I'm sitting in a room of sewing machines, so it's not like I'm going to give up. It's not like, and I still have my white serger. I just need the rack that holds up the thread. And I literally have 4 or 5 different racks for it. I could create another Franken serger. Well, that serger helped you get over the stigma of using one. Even convinced me to maybe get one someday. Absolutely. I love using my serger. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm so like, why did you betray me? Because I was so in love with using my serger, and it one day it's the old cliche. It worked until it didn't work anymore. But I will get a heavy duty, probably something simple. I agree. I'm so mad, Joy. It is probably something simple, and I'm ready to give it away to a good home. Oh, I'm so mad. It's because it was it's just a faster way to sew as well. It's for what I do, you know. And I still would use my sewing machine that I didn't clean through the entire time that I had my serger, but it is probably something simple. All right. So I'm going to properly through. You know what? I'm going to be making a hat. So I'm going to add that really gaudy orange, which is right there as well. Perfect. Let's have some fun this evening and make. Oh, that's perfect. All right. Let me check my notes. I was listening to the hockey game and while my son was in his MMA class. But you know, it is so funny to me when I go to Walmart and I go to the oopsie aisle and I'm like, I've already passed you, I've already avoided this one. Oh, all right. Perfect. I have no idea why my serger gave out, but again, I used it like it was an industrial serger. I made a ton of stuff on it, and it probably is something simple that I need to do in order to fix it. Perfect. I was thinking of all the crazy things I wanted to make with the tweed, but like I said, I have a bunch of coats. I really want to get back to hat making, so let's make a hat. Trying to remember what I did with all that felt. I'm gonna put this away and grab my table. Sorry, I had to wash my hands, make sure I had all the 3-in-1 oil off of my hands. All right. You know, I the more and more I've been going through my fabric, I have a ton of tweed. I have a ton of tweed, and I didn't even realize it. I'm gonna continue using my orange tweed, but in my latest video, I going through it, I looked at it and I'm like, this is tweed. So I have this really weird red plaid tweed. So I'm excited about that as well. All right. I always have test pieces laying around. Oh, I hope you sound better. I hope you work better, my friend. Perfect. I can instantly tell. But the real test is, oh, that's perfect. I need to add some tension on there, but the back is perfect. I'm going to do one more stitch just to make sure. Oh, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And the orange on the denim looks very old school. Perfect. All right, so let me get all this greasy stuff out of here so I can start sewing. Oh, you know, I have fabric in 4 different places. So let me go grab my felt real quick. All right. So I use felt as a base. I basically use felt as a base just to make it a little bit more thick. It was the material that I kind of it was just a choice. But it's a really good backing. I also use let me grab it as I forget what camera angle I'm at. No, I'm not gonna make a reversible hat. Or reversible bucket might work. Do you know, I think everybody forgets my bucket hat phase I went through 2 years ago. I still have all those crazy hats I made. All right, so I have 808, which I'm probably going to use as craft stabilizer, and I used to always use 806, but you know, I always go for the something that's a little bit more thick. But you can buy this at Walmart, and you know you can buy this at most craft places. But I use this as the backing in most of my hats. All right, I'm going to use this since it's already open. Perfect. So I'm all over the place of what kind of hat I want to make. Everything I make is always inspired by whatever crazy thing I'm watching or whatever I'm doing at the time. My original top hat was inspired from watching Gangs of New York. So I think I'm going to go full Daniel Day-Lewis and make another one. And you know what the funny thing is the base of the hat isn't that big. It's the top of the hat that gets huge. So I'm gonna make it huge, but not too ridiculous. But you know, it's probably gonna be ridiculous. All right, let me get something to use. Perfect. This is a perfect base. This is my grandma tin of sin, which, you know, if I would be shocked if I walked into someone's house and I found a tin of actual cookies. I would be shocked if I walked into someone's house and was like, oh, there's actually cookies in that tin. But this is a perfect base. And if you're ever like, hey, is this a good base or not? Just do this. Perfect. I know. I would be shocked. Even though it's no secret, I have a heavy sugar cookie addiction. An extremely hardcore sugar cookie addiction. All right. My angling is awful with this, but I made a perfect circle with this. So now I just have to cut it out. I'm kind of laughing because I am awful towards rotary blades. It's me. It is definitely me. So when I turn the corner and I heard a I know. So a week from now when I'm like, "Oh, why isn't my blade working?" It's me. Okay. Perfect. Actually, I might have to make that a little bit bigger because I have a giant head. Where is my other hat? We'll see how big the base is. Yeah, I should make it just a little bit bigger. But I could use this for the top of my hat so nothing gets wasted here. Perfect. Perfect. It's been a while, but I actually remember how to make these. But it's funny, like it's kind of like riding a bike, you know. You haven't done it in a while, but the second you get on a bicycle, you know how to ride a bicycle. Perfect. I'm gonna even this out just a little bit. Beautiful. Okay, so now I have the base for my hat. Oh, you'll end up cutting out eye holes and looking like Mushroom from Fat Albert. Oh, I wish I had style like Mushroom from Fat Albert. All right, so that's the base. I'm trying to remember. Did I not? Where's my hat? No, I think I just did. I use felt for the other pieces too? I think I did. Because essentially what I'm doing with this hat is I'm making a mock-up and the hat at the exact same time. All right. So I want this to be ridiculous, but not too crazy. So oh, see, I'm already hitting the roof in here. I'll measure from here of how insane I want this thing. Should we go 20 inches? Or will 20 make me look insane? Okay. Perfect. The funny thing is, somebody used to get paid a lot of money to make these hats, and people get paid a lot of money to make these hats now too. Oh, I hope that's okay. Good. That's barely. Wow, I have a giant head. That barely made it. Okay, I can't make this too humongous. Perfect. All right. Perfect. So in my travels of going to Dick's Sporting Goods and going to Walmart and everything, I just really discovered that most stores are bare bones nowadays. They carry only as much as they can. So what happens? Is they have just enough to keep the store open, but not like it used to. Like I said, old school sports chalet, you could go crazy in there. You could buy scuba gear, learn how to use them. Okay. I'm just trying to think for maneuverability. Once I add some stabilizer on here, this thing should get a little bit more integrity, but I'll cut a little bit more off of this. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to start lining this piece first. Because the bottom piece, it's not that it's complicated, it's just a little bit more work. So let me grab the stabilizer. And with this, it's just pinning and setting. I'm going to try not to add too many layers, but I have to put it on top of each of itself because it's not long enough. Oh. Perfect. Beautiful. Do you know there's so many things that I want to make, but I get caught up in making. I get caught up in making hoodies and all these things, and I forgot that I love making hats and all kinds of things. And this is kind of a skill I kind of fell upon because it wasn't necessarily something that was in my wheelhouse. But one day I was like, it can't be that difficult. And it's not. Perfect. All right, I'm going to turn this over and even it out right here. So stabilizer has this really weird tendency to bend. So I always put it opposite of like it's bending this way. So when I'm going to put this on, I'm going to make sure that when it bends, it's pushing down on it. Ooh, that's barely going to make it. Perfect. Oh, wow. That almost is perfect. It came directly across the top. Oh. Oh, right. Perfect. All right. I'm trying to decide how many layers I want on this because this is really starting to stiffen it up and it's already pretty stiff. So I'm going to add the tweed on this. You know, hat making is a bit messy, but it's fun. It's definitely fun. I'm going to make an utter and complete mess in here, but that's what this room is for. Perfect. Let me grab my phone. There it is. I hope everyone's doing well this evening. You know what? I've made a conscious choice to mind my own business. Lately on the internet, it's getting spicy again, where people are fighting over opinions. I recently realized that I've reached an age where I'm too old. There's two rappers fighting, everyone's talking about it, and I realized I'm too old for that. It's not that I'm too old, it's just that I'm not an affected party in this situation. But it makes me laugh how the older you get, your priorities change and things change. Because back in the day, I was there with Tupac and Biggie, and now I'm like, I have bills to pay and things to do. Perfect. So I'm gonna pull most of the pins on here and just flop this over and trace along the back. Since I have the template of what this is supposed to be, this is gonna look great. Level out, I haven't even heard of the digging of dirt on Drake. You see, even Alibaba knows. Trying to find where all the pins on here are, because there's nothing worse than a lost pin in a hat. Perfect. But it's kind of funny because like I kind of don't even know what they're talking about. Oh, perfect. Oh, this is gonna look great. And also, I try not to add too many layers because making hats is one of the many things that destroyed my Husqvarna Viking. So I try to remember. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna throw a quick pin in here to get a good trace. Perfect. Do you know what's so funny? If you told me 6 months ago I'd be working with tweed, I would have called you a liar. But here I am. Tweed just reminds me of like just cheesy suits of like, it just reminds me of a different era. Because if you look up tweed now, like, oh man, there's amazing suits that people make. There's just amazing things that people do. But like when I think of tweed, I think of like, Larry at the Regal Beagle. All right. Oh, that's going to be perfect. Oh, that's going to be perfect. All right. So I'm going to pull the bottom pins here. Because really what I'm doing is just preparing this to be sewn. But I have to make sure that I'm not going to hit any of my needles. Perfect. All right. So we got the middle done. Now I'm going to go for the base. Because the top, it's not going to necessarily be tricky. I just need to know how much space I have. All right, since I have a ton of the 806, I will continue. I think I was using 806 stabilizer on the other one. So I might as well maintain the integrity of it. Perfect. Oh, that's perfect because this sheet is the same size as the hat, so I can trace around as I go. Beautiful. I'm still cleaning and discovering things, but it's amazing when you live in a Goodwill or a fabric store. I have found so much fabric that I've completely just forgot about. And, I purchased so much that I recently bought more tweed, not even realizing it. So I'm excited because I have a ton of stuff to work with. Part of me wants to go see Modelo Man, but because of the San Fernando Valley swap meet, I kind of do not have to. But eventually I will go. I bet Modelo Man's worried about me. What the sad thing is? It really hasn't even been that long. It's only been like a solid month. But because I buy so much fabric and I go shopping so much over there, it feels like a lot longer. But it really has not been that long at all. I might get one of those standing desks. I've been seeing them everywhere because people are getting rid of them. But I sincerely think I'm gonna invest in a standing desk. And with all the cleaning and everything I've been doing, I've been creating more space. Oh boy. Oh, this cuts perfect. Like I said, making a hat is one of those skills that has not disappeared. Perfect. Again, I'm gonna try not to add too much, but because the tweed makes it kind of thick, but I'm probably gonna layer it up for this because I need a decent brim. I like the pork pie floppy brim look, but we'll see what happens. Oh man, I've been doing so much running around that it's funny when I come in here and I look at my oopsie pile, I'm like, oh, I really need to start sewing on that. I've been trying to incorporate an oopsie into every single one of my projects. It's been coming and going, but I've really been chopping down the pile. And even today, as my mic falls, I really didn't buy any oopsies like I would. I bought a singular oopsie. And normally I'll buy like 4 or 5 at a time and then shame myself in the car. But I was on a mission because, and I still can't believe that Walmart did not have sand for a punching bag or just sand in general. It's one of those funny things. They constantly advertise like, oh, I have this or this. Then you go there and they don't have it. And the funny thing is, like, I look on the website and it'll say, oh, we have it at this particular store. And you walk in and you ask the employee and they're like, we've never had that here. So the website's a little overambitious. It's aspirational, not necessarily truthful, but they're hoping that they have it. Perfect. All right. It's hilarious how much this blade is just cutting through this stabilizer. I'm not even really turning the blade too much. I'm actually turning the stabilizer and not even the blade. Oh, that's funny. All right, so I have quite a few layers here, but the funny thing is, like, if I don't layer up enough, I'm really gonna regret it. So I might add another layer on here, but we'll see how it looks. Because I'm still gonna add the bottom layer of the felt, and I'm gonna add I'm going to add the tweed as well. Oh, oof, that was almost my thumb. All right. Perfect. All right, this thing is kind of odd shaped. I gotta find the corner. There we go. That's much better. Sand is actually in short supply. It needs to be cleaned up here in Canada. It's seasonal. They're mostly quartz deposits here. They use for filters indoor beach sand. They just started up. That's crazy. You know what? That might be what it is. I was shocked because it used to be everywhere. And I was trying to not go to Lowe's because I go there too much. So I was shocked, Alibaba, that it's not readily available. But they'll sell everything else for it, like the punching bag or even playgrounds. Like they have these little mini playgrounds. Well, you need sand for those. At least, that's the old traditional idea. All right, so let me grab the tweed. Okay. All right. Oh, perfect. This rotary blade is cutting right through everything, and that's what I'm looking for. Because this tweed piece is going to be my template piece. It's going to be what I use to measure the bottom as well. Perfect. Okay. So I have to make sure that's on the right side of the tweed. The funny thing is, too many times I have cut on the wrong side. So I instantly in my head was like, oh, check everything. I need to get longer pins for that. Do you know, I love finding reliable vendors and people who have, I go to Modelo, man, but after a while I end up buying the same stuff. So it's good to find different vendors that have different material and other things that I can work with. And I already removed that pin. Oh, perfect. All right, so now I'm going to shape everything together because this is the not the finished product, but this is the bottom piece. And because of that, I'm going to make sure everything is even out. And you also want to give yourself like a lip to sew on because this is thick. I'm going to end up lining this, but just for now, I'm going to close this and see what happens. Actually, I'm going to finish the top piece. Not necessarily done, but almost there. Perfect. I'm trying to remember the last time, besides my blue hat, it's been about a year and a half since I went crazy and started calling myself the Mad Hatter. I made all kinds of top hats, everything. Okay, so if that is that big, do I want my hat to be that big? You know what? Actually, I'm going to sew this piece because it's going to dictate how big this piece is. So just for a second, I'm going to sew this together. Sounds strange to me not cutting fabric. Some Dunes Provincial Park in Ontario is the biggest around here. Campground solid out there for 2 years. Oh, wow. I haven't found my replacement blades. I think they're in this desk yet, but I have a bunch of rotary cutters and I need to start labeling them. I'm going to start putting dates on them because I'll buy a rotary cutter and then use it. And I'm like, why is this dull? Not realizing that I grabbed the wrong one. So I think from now on, I'm going to start writing the exact date of when I buy them. Oh, sorry. I forgot I still had my boots on. Oh. All right. So I'm going to switch my angle when I find the proper one. Perfect. Oh, man. I can still smell the oil on this thing. But because I'm making a hat, it could take it a little bit more. If I was like, normally I would let this thing sit overnight, but because I'm making a hat, it's not the end of the world. Oh, that's sewing perfect. All right. See, this is the part where the serger would have been perfect because I could have come completely across and finished this in a minute. But now that I don't have my serger, I have to go along the edge completely. And then I'm going to come through and realign everything. Awesome. I'm going to keep the inside felt because what's it called? Tweed is hot. Tweed is on fire hot. Okay. Perfect. Let's make the stitch length a little bit longer. Perfect. That is going through, I want to say 9 or 10 layers of material. Oh, what are you hooked on. That's why this machine is quality. Even an out of the box brand new, most out of the box brand new sewing machines would not be able to do this. Oh, I missed. Oh, I missed. Okay. Perfect. my my Bluetooth speakers flying all over the place. Perfect. All right, you can hear how stiff that is. I love this stabilizer. It's something I've been using for years and it works. So I'm ready for the commercial. All right. So I'm gonna take the pins out. Then I'm gonna flop this inside out and I'm gonna see how big I need, what size I need from my top piece. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I have to do the grand fitting on here. Let me switch my angles real quick. Do you know what's really funny? This is the part of sewing that I absolutely love. This is the goofy fun part. Oh, that's perfect. Wow. That is perfect. I wonder if I pinned it like that. Is that too big? That might be too big if I sew it traditional, but I'm going to do it anyways. The problem is if I you know what? I need to pin this and measure it because if I sew it wrong, I will not necessarily be able to pick it out. I could, but then it'll just become a giant mess. There is multiple layers here. And at this point, I'm going through 18 layers or something insane. Something insane because of all the stabilizer and everything. All right, I just need to get a good pin base in there to see how this is going to look and where to pin it. Okay, keep in mind, I want it to be over my ears and I still have to put the bottom base on. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. It's a gentleman's hat. It's a gentleman's hat. All right. That miss was the machine saying, "Don't make your corners like that." Alibaba is paying attention. Alibaba is paying attention. It's been a while since I've been here at the sewing angle, so you can see all the corners that I literally cut while sewing. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I am. I'm about to. I am. Oh, that's funny. Oh, look at that thing go. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That went through many. I'm impressed with this machine. Baby locks are no joke. Like this thing just went through, I think, almost 18 layers. And it's stabilizer and felt and tweed, but still, this thing punched right through it. I am impressed with this baby lock. All right. So, oh, that's perfect. All right. So now I'm going to add now I'm going to measure the top to see what it looks like. And then we'll add the base and be done with it. This hat is going to be amazing. This is going to be a gentleman's hat. Absolutely a gentleman's hat. All right, let me switch my angle. Oh, whoops, wrong one. I'm going to add the top. And the funny thing is, like with the top, I don't have to get too crazy. I'm going to add stabilizer. But if you think about it, it's the top of the hat. And if you're looking at the top of my hat, then you're like 7'2". Oh, that's perfect. This is so stiff it can stand up by itself. That's the sign of a good hat. So, like I said, the top layer, it needs to be quality, but it doesn't necessarily have to be as many layers. Red, yellow, leather. It's been a while since I busted out red, yellow, leather. That reminds me, I'm going to have a blooper out soon called Red, Yellow, Leather on my Sewing and Ranting with God the Sewing channel. Okay. So I've got that. I've got my base, which still needs to be sewn, but I'm going to measure the top of this. First, I'm going to switch my angle. I have WKRP in Cincinnati stuck in my head because I've been watching it. Do you know what? It's so funny how we portray, like, as a society, we use certain things as standards, knowing, like, if you look at the way that they dress and they act, people may have dressed like that in the 70s, but they did not act like that. But I absolutely love the crazy outfits, just the unreal situations they get put in. It's a good show. And it's inspired my 1970s comeback, even though my hat is going to be more 1870s today. All right. Impromptu coffee break. You know, I absolutely love what my son's coach is doing. It's a positive thing in my son's life. It has, like, MMA has absolutely changed my son's life. But come on, coach, can you not be a bohemian, bro? His class, it gets later and later as time goes on. And I'm sitting there at 7:10. I'm like, hey, man, you know what, though? I give him respect because I walk out and give him the Forrest Whitaker eye and he ends the class. So I do respect him for that because I walk out and I give him that look like, dude, we have officially crested the hour. Oh. And, you know, I know not everybody has something to do at 8 o'clock at night, but I do. So it makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh how bohemian this guy is. Well, hold on, let me see that. Well, 1860s, they had the taller top hats like Abe Lincoln. Oh. There are certain movies that are timeless for me, and I've kind of moved on. Like, I don't watch Pride and Prejudice and a lot of that stuff anymore like I used to. I've seen every Viking show you could possibly think of. I was actually just talking about this with Marquette last weekend. Like, I've seen everything. So I'm starting to get so I'm going back to the good movies. But Gangs in New York is just one of those timeless movies. This is precision work. Sorry. I am cutting along the seam of this hat, trying not to Utterly and complete. There we go. But this style, even like in my opening, I'm smoking a church warden pipe and I'm wearing my old timey coat with the cape. It was Sherlock Holmes inspired, but the hat was inspired from Gangs in New York. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, and I'm at 666 subscribers. I already took a screenshot for that person who's going to unsubscribe. I absolutely thank everybody. I never thought I would make it here. In all sincerity, I thank everybody. I am just a shrub sewing on the internet. I refuse to fight people on the internet. So many people have tried to come at me on Twitter. I'm just here to chew bubblegum and sew. And I'm all out of bubblegum. But seriously, I'm at 666 and I thank everybody. I'm kind of still shocked that I'm even still here. but for real, it's been a journey and I'm going to keep going. If anything, that this vest today proved to me that I need to keep going. Oh, I'm still mad at that vest. It could have been something, but it was just an utter and complete disaster. All right. I think I have a good base for the hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start wrapping this. This is extremely odd shape, but I cut it in direct shape of the hat. So I'm going to make it more circular with the tweed. The clothes were done well and the gangs in oh my gosh, the clothes were amazing in the gangs in New York Alibaba. But I have a question though. In period pieces like that, the clothes that they were wearing in the movie, they were probably better than what people wore in that real time. Am I being judgmental? Is that my like Hollywood eye where I am like, there's no way people can even afford half of the material that they're wearing back then, you know? Oh, there is a pen hidden in here somewhere. I am trying to find this hidden pin. Oh, that's hilarious. In one of these layers, there is... Oh, I found it. Oh, you can't live in there, dude. Thank you. Because if you look back at like Viking pieces or, you know, just pick an era, they did not dress like that. So sometimes they're accurate and sometimes it's like Flash Gordon inaccurate. All right. I will add a little bit of stabilizer with this if I can find it. I love it when they really try to get it right. It bothers me. There are certain there are certain movies I won't mention, but like I can't even watch it because it'll be a period piece and I'm like, that's not what they wore. Or I had this dilemma, okay? I do not have a problem with Chris Pine. I like all the Star Trek movies. People have all kinds of opinions. So I am an extremely bored human. I buy movies. I was at Walmart and I saw the most recent Dungeons and Dragons. Their outfits bothered me so much I didn't buy the movie. And also in that movie they're playing like modern music. Maybe it's me. Maybe I am officially an old fuddy-duddy. Maybe I have just officially reached fuddy-duddy times, but it just is weird to me. Am I wrong? Am I wrong for not buying Dungeons and Dragons? Me too, water name. But I like the Viking helmet with horns and the fur brim outside a metal helmet. Yeah, I love that look too. But the Vikings weren't much different from everybody else. You know, they were much more technologically advanced, but as far as the way they looked, his clothes and stuff, you know. It just makes me laugh. And when I say Flash Gordon, I'm thinking of the Buster Crab Flash Gordon. All the Martians, they were Vikings and they had wings on their helmets. So it just makes me laugh of what people thought that Vikings looked like. And I think because of that era, that was like the template of what people thought Vikings looked like. Laugh out loud. The helm of lies. Or I remember even when I was a kid asking, they would say like, "Oh, they wore this." Like I'd be in church or something, and they'd be like, "Oh, they wore this and this," and I would ask the dumb question of, "How do you know what they were wearing?" Because even back then, I was like, "How do you know?" Okay. Okay. So I'm getting a little happy with this top, so I'm going to add some tweed and call it a day. Because I'm going to have to sew this on top of this. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to make the top a little bit bigger just so it's easier to sew. Just so when I come back across this, and of course I have to make sure I'm sewing on the proper side. Okay, good. It's like I would feel bad for somebody if they were colorblind with this tweed, but it's like really orange and kind of cream, and the cream side is on the inside. So that's how I can tell. All right, like I said, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of room around the edges. Perfect. Laugh out loud. They planned other people. They They did. They did. But is there I was thinking about this earlier. Is there a goofy song that you absolutely love that is like yours that you're like, wow, this is my song? Sir Mix-a-Lot, and it's not the song you think. He has a song called My Hoopty, and it reminds me of the old MTV days. I love that song. It came on today on the Oldies channel. It came on today, and they were like not making fun of it, but they were like, "Oh, I remember when this song came out." I was like, "No, this is a good song." But is there something like I still listen to Footloose, and that song is goofy? Is there any songs that you still listen to where you're like, "Oh wow, oh, gonna put orange trim on the hat"? I don't know. I'm in here talking by myself. If I was talking to somebody, I may have an answer for that. But because I'm in here rambling to myself, I might do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. But no, I'm not going to put the orange trim on this hat. I'm probably going to use the tweed itself to trim. You know what? I don't know if we'll see what the hat looks like. Because things do take a life of their own. Perfect. Oh, give myself just a little bit of room to negotiate with, because sometimes it's a bear sewing these things on, and sometimes it's easy. All right, that is very much so the top, and that's the bottom. All right. Let's see, I have that piece, I have that piece. Then I can start sewing a few pieces together. Oh. So to anyone watching, I absolutely thank you. It is Wednesday night, and I am making a tweed hat. Oh, that's Ben Cisco. My name's William, and this is my so-called life. I'm just having a good time making a hat, enjoying myself. There's the angle. And I'm explaining myself as I go along, just to show people how easy it is to make a hat. It's not necessarily something that a skill you acquire overnight, but it's a fun project. And it's a good way to find out if your sewing machine can go through 15 layers of fabric or not. Oh, this babylock is absolutely just perfect. I cleaned the machine and it's performing 10 times better. Funny that. All right. So this is definitely the inside of the hat. So I'm going to pull that, cut it. I'm going to sew this piece since it's right here. But normally I would add the top. I would add the top of the hat first. But since that piece is literally right here, I'm going to sew it. I feel the difference. I definitely feel the difference in the machine since I cleaned it. We can dance if we want to. We can. I love the safety dance. I absolutely love the safety dance. And finally, the machine says no cut corners. I absolutely love that song, Alibaba, and I still listen to that song. I still bump that song to this very day. Perfect. Oh, man. I'm definitely going to have to line this one. Oh, okay. Perfect. Sorry, I'm like pulling it back and sewing. Perfect. Almost there. Almost there. Perfect. Perfect. I went around a few times just to make sure. I always say reinforce your seams, but I am extremely serious about. All right, so I'm gonna shape this just a little bit while I'm sitting here, because once I get the top piece on and cut this, the hat's basically done. So I want to clean up all the edges now, so I'm not having to do it when the hat's together. Perfect. Didn't even touch the stitching on that. Perfect. Sometimes those songs are the best songs. Earworms, like, ha ha ha. Very much so. We need the seam guide attachment for the perfect circle. You know, hold on. Let me switch my angles. You know, you don't always need all that fancy stuff. I want you to remember, whoever's watching this, always remember you are a sewing machine. Never forget that. You're a sewing machine. I'll continue making my hat. Oh, I almost lost it. They have one of those for the touch-in, so I'm thinking about digging out one of my touch and sews and making it exclusive for something. I need a touch and sew corner because the serger is about to get retired, aka put up like a wall hanger. And it's time. It's time. If it's not working, you can't be here. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to line this up. Let me switch my angle again. I'm going to line this up and let's see what it looks like. No, I'm going for Gangs of New York, but let's be real. I'm working with orange tweed. So this is going to be Goofies of New York. Okay, that's the back. Perfect. Okay, I just don't want this to flop over at all, so I'm going to do a lot of pinning. But this is extremely thick, and it's moments like this that makes me miss my old clips. But clips are controversial because some people swear by them. I break them. I have yet to meet a clip that could hang with me. So I'm back and forth with sewing clips. All right. Oh, you can just hear how stiff this thing is. Perfect. Oh, this is going to be awesome. And I'm glad I cut that way too big because now I can really negotiate with this hat. Perfect. Well, actually, it's not too big. I'm just lining everything up perfect. I have long and short pins in here, and I have to remind myself to not grab the short pins in a project like this because they will not be able to go through. And it's not because of how sharp they are. It's because of the length. Perfect. Oh, man, this stuff is stiff. I love using this stabilizer. Okay, can you make it, pin? No, it cannot make it. Okay, barely. The battle between making to do with what we have and working with to have all the things. I can't find those little metal clips anymore. I had these plastic ones. They were awesome. I used them for everything, but they slowly started breaking. And over time, they started snapping. And where I live, it is extremely hot. This room is hot during the summer. I do not come in here until the night because it gets so hot in here. You'll see when I'm streaming during the day and I'm sweating buckets. So the clips lose, they lose their integrity and they break. I kind of just chalked it up to the fact that I live in the real desert. Okay, I think that's stiff enough. Just so good gravy. Only the small paper clips they have blue steel. Those little plastic ones last me 3 years. I kept on snapping them. It was just excuse me. And then Walmart started selling like a version of them. Same thing would happen. I would just end up snapping them. I do miss using plastic clips for everything though, because they were convenient. I have a bunch of I bought a bunch of like chip clips from the 99-cent store. Oh man, we're really gonna test this thing today. All right, here we go. This is gonna be a major test. So far. Oh, come on. Beautiful. Oh! Oops. Oops, that's a broken needle. Oops. Oops. Did we make it all the way around? No. What did you break on? It was probably a freaking. Yeah, it broke. You know what the funny thing is it broke on a pin. Oh. Good times. Good times. Okay, so I'm going to rethread this. But because of my recent drama, I have purchased quite a few sewing needles. I had a ton in this room, but one day I went looking and I could not find my I couldn't find my sewing needles. So I was like, that's not okay. I went and purchased a bunch. And they arrived the next day. The people at the ISS are going to ask me if I'm okay. Those little plastic ones. You know what's so funny though? Still to this day, I'm glad that it doesn't come back and hit me in the eye. So for as bitter as I am, like that could have been way worse. Just okay, you can actually sew. Perfect. You know, I know with this, it's bending the needle. When I work with extremely thick material, as you're sewing, I'm moving, and the machine is a precision machine, and if the timing's off, the needle will break. So that's actually not a rare thing when I'm making something this thick. It's just funny how, man, lately between my serger, I jump when something breaks. I'm like, why? Why? All right. Let's go back at it. I'm not even going to do a test piece. We're just going to go straight to it once I figure out where I was. Orange on orange is wonderful. Did I go all the way through? You know what? Let's pull the pins and see if I went all the way. No, I did not. That one pin was literally holding that entire section. Okay. When you say clips, are you talking about Wonder clips? They were small. I don't know. They were tiny. They were tiny clips. I put them on everything. I loved those things, but they just would not stop snapping on me. Let's go. Okay. Let's see where you stopped sewing. My sewing machine is like, what are you doing? Oh, if this was ever a commercial for me to get that industrial. On your touch, bobbin, on your new touch and sew. All right. Perfect. All right, let's try that again. Use the binder clips for... Oh, use the binder clips. They are metal. I had a ton of clips. I had a ton of like really awesome sewing accessories. And over the years, I've just kind of gone back to pinning everything. I had all these cool toys. I had everything. But in the end, it's kind of like the old school ways kind of prevail, you know? Okay, I'm just checking to see where. But I miss my clips. I still have quite a few of them laying around. It's just they're not what they used to be. Those work, Joy. I can find those blue steel kind still. Cheaper too. You know what? Send me a link. I miss using my clips. I would use them for everything. I would always laugh when I would have like 50 clips on something. Okay, I missed there. Perfect. I missed right there. Oh. Okay, so you are not happy, huh? I'm gonna have to adjust the tension on this. Okay. You just are not happy, are you? You know what's so funny is that when I'm not paying attention, I could thread this thing in 3 seconds. When I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's like a chore to thread this thing. There we go. Okay, it did not go through. Perfect. All right, like I said last time, I'm just going to sew because this thing keeps on throwing. I really adjusted the tension on this, so we'll see if that helps. No, it didn't. It keeps on throwing the needle. That is the strangest thing. Why are you throwing the needle? Oh, I'm going to have to take the tension down all the way, I think. Or... interesting. It's like a watch pot. Yeah. You're using Singer Heavy Duty. I have a bad feeling about that machine. Oh, right. Perfect. All right, man. You know what? I'm going to do a couple test pieces. You need to stay. You need to... Okay, so it works on that, and that's fairly thick, but not as thick as this. Okay. So let's try this. Take number 5. Ah! It keeps on instantly throwing it. It is not happy. What is wrong with you, man? Is it because I was nice to you and I was praising you? Oh, that is so funny. Okay, so we're just going to keep going until this thing actually sews. All right. Ah, it threw it. Did it go any further, though? Did it secure it? No, I can feel it that it did not. Oh, you are frustrating. You know what? I can't believe I'm about to do this, but you're about to get fired, sewing machine. Okay. All right, you sit on the bench. You better be ready to play, as they say. I don't even know what needle's in here. Let's try this out. You guys have the same plug? I thought. Oh no, it doesn't have the same plug. That's right. You know what? This is insane. I don't know where the plug for this one is. If I had a co-host in here, I would have time to actually be able to do this. I'm gonna end this stream. This is extremely frustrating. Let me I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna take a quick break. Sorry, can't hear you. Let me take a quick break. Yikes, what a disaster. Do you know what's really funny? This is like an almond that I should get. Yeah, seriously, get the stapler. Okay. So, what else is going on? I'm gonna finish this, but it is frustrating that this is not this is definitely a not today Bob and Kenna day. But that's okay. I've learned a lot of lessons today about the machines I have, about the fact that I need to find the other cord, and I need to stop sending links to people who don't want to jump in. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna bring the Bob and the lady. I'm gonna bring the Natalie back, and I'm gonna thread this thing, and I'm just going to keep going. All right. Perfect. This thing just does not want to cooperate, but I'm going to give it a second before. Seriously, I'm almost to the point of getting a stapler. All right. So I'm going to thread this. This thing is, you know what it is? It just the tension is messed up on here. It cannot handle it breaks the second it goes through a bunch of layers. Make sure the shuttle is sealed right in the machine where you're using. Might have popped off. Very, very true. All right, so let me try that again. You know what's so funny? I thought the hat would be an easy project, but it's turned into a fist fight. Okay, perfect. All right, man. I'm just asking you to do something you're not made for. What's the problem? All right. All right. So I'm going to switch this real quick. Perfect. Perfect. I think I got about 2 feet that time before it completely quit on me. Oh man, is it the tension or is it's throwing it every time because it just cannot handle the amount of layers? I'm going to take the tension completely off and see if that helps because it feels like no matter what, it's going to snap. All right, let me move the tension all the way to 0. Oh man, this thing does not want to sew this. Okay, just keep trying until we get it. I was almost done, and this thing just decided to utterly and completely not work. Oh man. Perfect. All right, let me get my test piece and make sure that we're sewing. Okay, so it's not that, it just cannot take the intense amount of layers I'm asking it to go through. All right. It went another couple of inches and didn't even sew it. Oh, that's funny. All right. I'm going to give it another go. But this top of this hat is just terrible. This is actually the inside, so it doesn't matter anyways. But it's insane how it just stopped sewing. It's definitely because of the layers. There's no other reason than just the fact that it is a massive amount of layers. Perfect. It's definitely the it's definitely the machine. I'm gonna have to finish this the old school way. Oh, that just stinks. That absolutely stinks. I'm gonna have to look and see if I do. It's definitely the hat. It has nothing to do more than it's just the unreal amount of layers on here. But there's always a way to expedite things. Perfect. All right. All right. I'm trying to switch my angles. I'm gonna finish this off stream because this has just been an utter and complete mess. They can't all be winners, but that's okay. Tonight I learned a bunch of things about everybody. The House of Sewing is completely changing. I'm going to have to change everything in here because this was an utter and complete failure on all accounts. And that's okay. That's what happens when you're on YouTube. Things are just unreliable. So I'm just gonna chalk it up as not today Bobbin kind of day. But I'm gonna have my Friday sews out eventually. I'm probably gonna work on that after the stream. I should be doing that. I should go back to concentrating on my videos. I'm gonna have a Friday sews out. I've been working on it. I absolutely love my new camera. It is so strange having something that is professional grade quality. I'm still trying to figure it out. There's still a bunch of kinks and bumps, but it's really coming along, and I absolutely love my camera. I'm gonna hand sew it, but I'm gonna sit here for a minute or two. But this was frustrating because lately my between my serger and this machine, it just cannot do what I ask it to do anymore, and I'm gonna have to step it up and get a better machine. It just stinks. Or I'm gonna have to dig out my 1950s. I should pull my my 301A out because the 301A would have ate right through this. And the funny thing is, I used to use multiple sewing machines for projects. I think I need to go back to that. I think I need to thread my 301A and bring it back to life. I think that might be a problem too because this thread is that cheap thread, but it was working for everything up until now. And then all of a sudden it just started ripping left and right. So it's one of those weird things where it's a combination of quite a few things. Oh man, it's such a mess in here. I can't even find my sewing needle that's on my tomato. Oh, that's okay. So I'll be back at it on you know what, I'm gonna give myself 5 minutes. I'm not gonna end it on a bad note. Today was an utter and complete failure, but that's okay. They can't all be winners. Somewhere in here is a tomato with the giant oversized hand sewing needle that I use for everything. And that is probably how I'm gonna have to end how I'm gonna finish the hat. I'm gonna have to hand sew everything because it looks like the machine just couldn't handle it, and I couldn't find a plug for anything else. And while you're sewing on YouTube, there's this weird rush. And people say, "Oh, there's not a rush." It took me 2 hours just to get here. It's not a failure, just behind the deadline. Yeah. And it's frustrating because, it's hard work. And so when you do something over and over and over and over again and it's just utter and complete failure, it's time to take a step back. Especially because my serger utterly and completely it's not working. And I don't want to start testing it because I've been using it and it's been breaking needles because it's only surging on 3 sides. And so what's happening is that it's either over or under compensating. And again, I think I had the same problem. I twitched and broke my serger basically. Well, it's a learning thing. You just learned that machine has limits. Absolutely. Absolutely. I need to also On the other side of the flags is this really sad bag of sewing machine power cords. And when I say sad, I mean it's just not one bag, but 4 or 5. And they're anywhere from like the most common sewing machine to just exotic plugs that I really should label. Oh. You know what? I'm gonna clean up in here a little bit. Before I say goodbye, I'll clean up in here a little bit. I think part of the problem is that I'm trying to finish and it's just not going well. Oh man. I'm definitely gonna have to find someone to donate my scraps to, because my scrap pile, you could you could make a boat cover at this point with how many scraps I have. Do you know what? I'm still shocked. I still have a ton of felt. Every time I look at this, I'm like, oh wow, I still have yards and yards and yards of felt. Oh. If you had a vintage singer out, I bet it would sew it. Maybe one of the ones on the shelf, hand crank ones, absolutely. I have to get there though. That's part of the problem. Oh. Oh man. You know what? It's so funny. Hat making is a messy, messy enterprise. I'm shocked. I have less scraps when I make a coat. But it's also the interfacing and everything else. You know, it creates a mess. Oh. And I'm trying to separate the scraps from the paper. Oh. You have absolutely. That's why I'm kind of just cleaning up, because I'm just going to move on to another sewing machine. I'm going to eventually hand sew that, but it's crazy how much of a mess that became. Oh man. All right. For the thick seams on my hand crank, even the Singer 12, I grab hold of the hand wheel and force the issue. But even then, it's you guiding it, so it's you. You're still in control. When this thing throws a thread every single time, it's just like it's me. Because and also when I sew on anything else, it works. It's just this is way too thick. I use hammer for thick seams. Now that's a t-shirt. Now that is definitely a t-shirt. Oh man. Well, it's halfway there. Oh, this thing's gonna be humongous when I eventually do finish. What a mess. What an utter and complete mess. Yeah, it crushes the fabric, flatter, so easier for the machine to sew. Do you know what's funny? Is it ate this It ate this right up, and this is just as, if not more thick than the other one, you know? This actually has more layers, and I purposely, on purpose, I did not put that many layers on the other one. It happens. It happens. I want to thank everybody who's made it this far. To everybody who's been watching this, to watching the replays, I absolutely thank you. You're amazing. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go cry in the corner. I'm gonna go take I'm gonna go take my serger, and my serger's gonna take a long walk off a short pier. I'm gonna completely rearrange. Serger station is gone. We are abandoning that space station. I'm gonna switch out my sewing machine and find something else to work with. No, it's double that with 2 edges being sewn. Crazy. Thank you, Joy. Thank you. Like, you know what? Tonight was just frustrating. It was just a frustrating evening, and it happens. Not every single night could be a winner. Well, I'll be back at it. I'm gonna have to at this point use a blind hammer. I'm gonna have to. All right. Well, I've been at it for 2.5 hours, and tonight, I barely made it back to the space station. But I'll be back at it on Saturday. I'll have a video out late Thursday, for Friday shows. I hope everybody has a great evening. I want to thank everybody who joined me tonight. Anybody who watches in the future, I absolutely thank you. I'll be back at it on Saturday. So, like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time.